Water. Something quite fluid. The bringer of life. We all need it. And it connects us all. And yes, water. Water to me. What is it? Excuse me. Well, actually, water is the place I live on. Together with my girlfriend Carlijn, we made the decision to move back to the water, the place we all origin from. And, well, we have the honor to live on board this ship. This ship is 114 years old. And yes, it's really an honor to keep it for a few decades, because that will survive me, that ship. And if I move further, water is something my brother and I always had in our lives. Our mom was afraid of it, so we had to go on the water. Go swim, go sail, go. And we were not afraid. Actually, we have now our own boat company, and we take people around our city and in our city to show it how beautiful it is to be hospital from the water. Well, family and friends, we're all connected by this water. This was when we made the first maiden trip of our boat. We worked 3 years to realize it. And the mayor was our first guest on board. And if I look to my own identity, water, well, it's everywhere. But most of it, it's the place I come from. Water shaped my city, the place I live. My dad is born in Venice, and this is just like Venice. Look at the little spot in the right corner, or left. Well, that's Dordrecht. And actually Dordrecht, well, the name Dordrecht comes from the water. The little river Ture was the place where the first city was made. And it's called Drit. That was a place where you could walk through the water. So the first name was Turedrit. Then it became Turedrecht, and so Dordrecht got its name, thanks to the water. And thanks to this strategical position, Dordrecht became really rich, wealthy. A lot of trade was done because it was a crossing of destination north, south, east and west to Germany as well, to England, Scandinavia and France. So a lot of shipbuilding was done here. Ships need maintenance, ships need to be repaired, and ships need to be built because we want to expand. That's what we Dutch always do, we expand. And we go sail across the world, and Dordrecht got world famous. The shipbuilding of Dordrecht was known all around the world. This is the Kayumaru. It's a Japanese ship built in the 19th century in Dordrecht. It was the only place where the Japanese emperor gave the order to build this ship. And that's quite impressive, because Japan then, in the 19th century, was a really close community. Actually, they built a replica of this in Japan, and every kid going to school needs to go there. Well, we have only a plate back in our town, opened last year. But we need to go a step higher, a level higher, because we're connected by water, and Dordrecht is not the only community surrounding this water. We call it the Drecht cities, the cities on the other shore of the water from Dordrecht. And actually there are 7 cities right now, and they call themselves Maritime Delta. And just look at it, it's, well, inspiring. The water, beautifully. And if you have a problem with a flood, which is threatening you, you have to call the Dutch. They will help you. Guys from 10 kilometers from here, they help when flood is threatening you. They built Palm Island. They built multi-millionaire yachts. Everything comes from here. And if we take a little bit step back, how did it come? We are this maritime delta right now. Well, that's because we got a little help. This is a shipyard. A shipyard just 1.5 miles from here. And 70 years ago, world history took place here. This is something unique. This is something you might not know. I didn't know it myself. You might say, why is this guy telling me about a shipyard? Well, he's talking about water. Well, imagine Europe 70 years ago. It was destroyed. The fabric of Europe was shattered. And then, together with America, the United States initiated the European Recovery Program, better called the Marshall Plan or the Marshall Help. And if you place yourself in the position of the people then, and listen to these words of George Catlett Marshall, who said, "Our policy is not directed against any country or doctrine, but against poverty, hunger, desperation, and chaos." Just imagine yourself what the words did when he said, "The only way human beings can win a war is to prevent it." We don't know it, because we don't know war. But the people back then did. This is world history, and it took place just a mile from here. And how did it take place? Well, the French government owned that shipyard, and they gave an order to create new ships for their fleet. And these were the Golden Cut, so beautiful, so slender. They were built by women in Canada and the US, transported here on Liberty ships, built in sections, and in 5 weeks they could build an entire ship from sections to a self-navigating ship. Something really special, but the sad truth is these ships are demolished. And if we want to keep our heritage alive, we have to do something, and together with other people who see the importance of our maritime heritage and the culture which brought us so far, we started a civil initiative. We call it the Life Yard, from shipyard to life yard, a place where you could live on board, work on board, recreate, where a floating park will be, where people go again on board these ships, live and see for themselves what it meant to be a maritime innovator. Well, of course, developing something outside and not on the desk is difficult. So we had a lot of work last 3 years to get something which is realistic. And this, as you see, might be a realistic option. And the guy who is going to decide about this is in the middle of this theater, and luckily he is a fan of our maritime culture. So in November, everything will go right, and this will be finally the coming back of the ships to the old shipyard will make this new area complete, because without the ships, well, you're only telling half the story or less. And that takes me another step, a step forward actually, a step forward to where we're going to be. Because my brother and I decided how to make a more sustainable way of transporting our guests on water. We're developing Futuro, and Futuro will be a water taxi, and we're doing it together with students, and that's so inspiring because technique and technical innovations, technical challenges, well, that's in our DNA, and it's beautiful to see how creative you are when you join each other, when you do it together. And you can only do it together, because together you can achieve much, much more than when you stand alone. And yes, this got to be the result, where nature and man can live in harmony. Nature and man. But we have an enormous responsibility to our next generations and to our planet as well, because we made things, well, quite messy. It's quite warm now in September, don't you think? Yes, I think as well, too dry. Water will be short. Sweet water will run out. So we are taking our responsibility as far as we can, and we already use bio-based fuel. It reduces our carbon footprint with 80%. But if we do it just ourselves, well, what's the consequence? Yes? No, not even. So you have to go beyond, expand. Maybe you're a pioneer, but others has to follow. Well, the only thing I can say, come to Dordrecht. I welcome you. I'll take you on board of Futuro. I hope you got a little enthusiastic about it. And together we will go to the life yard, and I'll give you a nice lunch on board of the French engine, French motor. Thank you.